How do men feel about sleeping with their friends? I just hooked up with one of my closest friends. While I have hooked up with acquaintances before, I have never been with someone with whom I share this close of a friendship. And my inner circle is pretty small. We've always been those kind of friends where we could go on for months without talking but still manage to talk for hours once we get together, since we went our separate ways after HS. When we graduated from college a few years ago, we kind of rekindled a different level of vulnerability, but our get-together got more seldom, so it never really took off, and I didn't think about it for a long time until that day. He just came home after months of being away from work, and I happened to be in his hometown that week. We didn't know that each other was in town, and we accidentally met up outside a beachfront resort parking lot. I was about to leave but was not in a hurry, and they were just about to check in. We talked for about half an hour before I had to drive back to town. I did kind of bug him jokingly about being a snob, telling him that he didn't tell me that he was coming over, and a few hours later he messaged me if we could drive around for a bit and hang just like before. I was too lazy to drive back to theirs, so we just spent the night at my hotel room. Although things didn't turn to sex immediately, we did spend hours talking and cuddling until we both fell asleep. Nobody wanted to leave by the morning, so we spent half of the day under the sheets. So now, at 25, I am confused. I never saw him this way before. Things are back to the way they were before. We still act around each other the way we do, just a little bit more flirty while not explicitly talking about it. This is weird. Men feel lots of different ways about anything. We aren't all one brain. Talk to him if you're uncomfortable about something. He seems pretty chill. I'm not trying to generalize, but it sounds like you two really like each other. If you want a relationship with this guy, you need to meet up again and tell him you really like him. Then ask if he likes you too. But do all of this in a way that's not so blunt. If you keep seeing him just hooking up and as friends, he will never see you as anything more, or at least is very unlikely to. If you want to be friends and brush this off, this is a way of doing that. The decision is yours at the end of the day. But the sooner you decide, the better. Good luck, op. Are you having deeper feelings for him and wanting more? Because if you are, then I would tell him. As a man myself, I've slept with friends who I ended up having feelings for, but never pursued them out of fear of rejection, only to find out down the line that they felt the same way back. There are a few that kind of hurt to think about now that that ship has sailed. It's fine. Whenever we wreck each other anally, all we do is say no homo and we're cool. Nothing to worry about. I slept with my best friend in college. That's actually how I lost my virginity. And it didn't affect our friendship at all. We did it twice. I'll never forget those nights. But a month later she had to move away to start a new job and career. And as life often does, we led our own lives and adulthood happened. Anna, if you're out there, I still think about you sometimes. I would honestly say most guys wouldn't sleep with a close friend if it meant never seeing you again. He was probably already interested in you. As guys don't typically hang out in the friend zone for too long, it's just torture. So, take it slow. Talk about taking next steps. And navigate things thoughtfully. Good luck. This sounds like a wonderful start to a new relationship. Tread very carefully. I did something similar a few years ago with a good friend and it didn't end well. We're cool these days and still chat every few months or so, but it got ugly for a while and I didn't speak to her for nearly a year at one point. I like it a lot. I've had several friends with benefits FWB relationships. And they were great. I think it deepened our friendships. There's a wonderful emotional intimacy that comes with it. My wife and I started as FWB for a year. Then BFGF. Married after that for 12 years now. It was a great progression. Other FWBs we stayed friends. In some instances the benefits ended, others didn't. But the friendship remains. I feel like it destroys relationships. Hookup culture is ruining people. End. If you're cool, I'm cool. That would essentially end the friendship. I don't believe you can go backwards. I mean, what did you expect to happen? It sounds like they're trying to stay friends. You need to ask him or tell him what you're doing. Or just continue on if you're content with the current scenario of being FWB. But I still think a discussion about what it is should be had to avoid one of you being on a different page. I've had sex with women I know and was able to hang out with them with no awkwardness later on. However, they weren't close friends of mine and I don't talk to them anymore. Mainly due to a breakup and another emigrating. I would never sleep with a close friend though. I think for people who can continue being close friends after with no awkwardness are in the very low minority. So keep that in mind if you want to sleep with him. Sometimes female friends just happen to be really attractive mates. I feel like it is a little easier to trust and break the ice. Plus you already like them. Plenty of example of friends starting to date in the circles I run in. Talk to him about it. But it sounds to me like you both caught some feeling. It can be really jarring transitioning to that mindset because, at least to me, there isn't a huge difference between close friendships and romantic relationships. Some psychology text actually says that best friends earlier in life serve as a trial run for romantic relationships. So the only way around is through in this case. No one here can give you better advice than just saying talk to people in your life about questions regarding your relationship with them. Some of the best sex I have ever had has been with non-romantic but very close friends of the opposite sex. Edited to remove an unfortunate reference to incest. I am 72 recall sleeping with a lot of my female friends in the late 60s and early 70s and it wasn't a big thing. I guess it was just sort of accepted as a normal kind of free love thing common to the era. Most of the girls I slept with were also friends of my wife of 44 years and those of us who are still alive are still friends. We socialize a lot. We never discuss our 50-year-old hookups. But we all know who slept with who and it's totally not important. Well, for one, I try my damnedest to keep all friendships with heterosexual female friends limited to the environment we know each other from, because if we do hook up, the friendship will go to one of two ways at an extreme scenario. This is not my personal opinion on the matter, but watching this go down so many times before. Not saying it's a bad thing. Just a very sharp double-edged sword. Really all depends on him, because sometime we can do all that with a friend and not really have any romantic feelings, so you should just ask him how he feels about it. Ask yourself, how much do you differentiate a very good friend that you are sexually attracted to and a boyfriend? All I'm gonna say is the best relationships start off as friendships. Do with that what you will based on your own feelings. Figure out what your feelings are towards this guy. Then have a conversation with him about what happened and how you feel. See how he feels. Go from there.